Hey guys, Bird Yu-Gi-Oh here. So today wanted to show you guys an update to my Magistus deck. I think it's a really fun deck. It just did get some new support. It's actually one of my favorite, I guess, newer decks and kind of newer engines. I like to play this with Shadal's. I think Shadal Magistus is really good. But yeah, let's get right into it. Make sure you guys are subscribed so you don't miss any upcoming deck profiles, and also check out my Patreon for even more additional content. So we'll start off with the best Magistus monster in the main deck. That is Riliona, the Magistus of Ver. Now this one, if it's normal or special summoned, the main effect you're going to use is just to add any Magistus spell and trap from your deck to your hand. You can also, it has a really cool effect where you can banish this card from your graveyard, target a Magistus you control, and equip it with a Magistus from your graveyard. That is not a level 4 monster, so that'll usually be one of your extra deck Magistus monsters. So that's good for kind of like the grind game. And then the next best starter or card to open with is Zoroa. Because his effect, you can just target a Magistus monster you control and equip it with a Magistus from your extra deck. And then if he becomes equipped with a Magistus monster card, you can special summon a level 4 from your hand or graveyard. So again, they both can kind of combo very well together. And then we also play 3 Crowley. Now this one, it's an easy special summon basically is how you're using this. You just send a spellcaster from your hand or face up on the field to the graveyard, and then you can special summon this for free. And then we also are playing 3 Endymion, the Magistus of Mastery. Now him, you can target a Magistus monster you control and equip it with a Magistus monster from your extra deck. You can also target one face-up spell you control, destroy it, and then you can draw a card. So very decent, but I definitely want all 3 max out on all of them, just so you have a chance of at least normal summoning one, and maybe if you have a spell card, to special summon one, either from the graveyard or from your hand. So definitely like to max out on those. Really good extender is Jester. I just played at 1 because you don't need to see it, but if you do, it's an easy way of going into Artemis because it just requires a level 4 or lower monster, or if you open some other cards, it just becomes an extender so that you can then go into Crowley if you want, or Celine. So it's just a nice card to have. And then for hand trap, I chose to play 3 Effect Veiler. It's really good, and if you open multiples, you can activate them both. But also for Crowley, I just wanted another spellcaster so that I could, if I open multiples of these, I could ditch one with Crowley and be able to summon that without ditching one of my Endymion cards. So that's the thinking behind going Effect Veiler. And then the last of the monsters, we're playing 2 Spellbook Magician of Prophecy. It's obviously not as good of a normal summon as, say, like a Zoroa or a Riliona, but if you don't open one of them, it's the next best one, and it's the best draw engine in the game. So it's a really nice way of obviously getting to more cards. And then for the spells to go with our Magician of Prophecy, we play 2 secrets to either search him or Spellbook of Knowledge, and Spellbook of Knowledge is obviously crazy in this deck because you just send a spellcaster monster from your hand or face up on your field. But normally, obviously, if it's not a spellbook, you have to send it from the field. So sending these to the field is not terrible, especially if you happen to draw one of the really good Magistus cards that'll just special summon it back from the graveyard. And then in addition to that, playing 2 Pot of Desires and 1 Upstart Goblin, just draw power. We max out on everything important, so Pot of Desires is never going to hurt you. And then Upstart Goblin, we're playing a 40 card deck, so why not? And then for the Magistus spells, the best one in my opinion is Tris Magistus. This one During your main phase, you can just special summon a level 4 spellcaster from your hand. Really good. You can send this face-up card to the graveyard and special summon any number of Magistus monsters with different names from your hand. So if you open a bunch of them, this is really good. But yeah, this is just, in general, a really good card, especially since we're maxing out on all of the Magistus monsters. And we're playing 3 Thurgy. This one allows you to kind of get your plays going. It targets a Magistus, and you equip it with a Magistus monster from your extra deck, graveyard, or face up on your field. Very, very good. And then 3 Ritra. Now this one is the one that's going to target a level 4 or lower Magistus in your graveyard and special summon it. It's also good protection too if it's in the graveyard. If a Magistus card in your spell and trap zone would be destroyed, you can banish this from your graveyard instead. So that is pretty good. And then we play 3 of the fusion invocation. Magistus invocation, so it's obviously searchable, able to fusion summon a really, really good card in AWAS. So yeah, this card is really nice, and I just max out on all of them, mostly because of Pot of Desires, but just to maximize our chances of seeing, we're fine seeing multiples of all of these, to then, hopefully use each of them, and then have more to do the following turn. Then I play 1 Spell Power Mastery. It's just an easy search for Endymion, basically a Magistus name if you need it. Then 1 Called by the Grave. We do a lot of searching and special summoning. Then 1 Monster Reborn. We have an easy Link 1, so summoning that out and then special summoning back 1. So this is just free basically. That is it for the main deck. The extra, we'll just say that the best card in the extra deck is Artemis. It's a Link 1, so you use any level 4 or lower spellcaster. And then if another Magistus is normal or special summoned while you control this, you can target one of those and equip this card to it. And if this card is equipped to a monster, you can add a Magistus monster from your deck to your hand. So that is crazy good. Definitely necessary at 3 because you're always going to be making it almost every turn. And since we're playing the Spellbook engine, Crowley is really nice to just search out your whatever Spellbook pieces you need. And then Selene, if you can make it, it's just an easy special summoner from Grave. Definitely a nice one. And then we play IP Masquerena, Nightmare Phoenix, Nightmare Unicorn. These are mostly for, going second options or targets for IP Masquerena on your opponent's turn. Usually you'll summon the Unicorn to just shuffle something back into the deck. So that's the links we're playing. For the Xyz, the brand new one, the best one for the deck, Riliona. Definitely play 2. This card is really, really good. You just detach 1, and then you can special summon a Magistus monster from your deck. You can't special summon except for Magistus monsters. And when this card is equipped, you can target effect monster your opponent controls, negate its effects until the end of this turn. So 2 amazing effects. This I felt is definitely necessary, and it's the main reason. I think you should anyway, but maxing out on Crowley is really important just so you can have easy access to this card. Because, if you open Endymion, Crowley, and, I don't know, we'll say Effect Veiler, you can normal summon, special summon the Crowley, go into this Riliona, and then use this effect to then special summon this Riliona. And then with this, you can search out, Vitra if you want, activate that, special summon that Crowley, and then your plays just go crazy from there. But yeah, this card I felt was just a really, really nice addition to the deck. It added a lot of power and just consistency with specifically getting your Riliona effect off as much as you can. And then our other rank 4 is Ninaru. This one's decent. When this card is equipped, the equipped card can make up to 2 attacks during the battle phase. You can detach one from this, target a level 4 or higher spellcaster monster in your graveyard, and add it to your hand. So that is decent. Also, when it's equipped to a monster, you can target a Magistus in your spell and trap zone, and 1 spell and trap in your opponent's, and destroy them. So they're both decent. Obviously, Rilleona's better, but this is still very good. And then we played 2 Awas. Now he is just really good. He's got a really good quick effect, where during the main phase you can just target one other face-up monster on the field, equip this card you control to it. If it's equipped to an opponent's monster, you take control of that monster. So that's just really cool, I think. And then we play the 1 Varam. He's definitely the worst Magistus out here. When he's equipped, the equipped monster cannot be destroyed by spell and trap effects. And then you can also, if the synchro summon card is destroyed, you can destroy all face-up cards your opponent controls, which is good, but your opponent's just obviously not going to destroy it. So in addition to that, for a level 8 synchro, playing, of course, Borreload Savage. Again, we can go into our links fairly easily. So getting a Borreload Savage is definitely really nice to go into. But yeah, that's the deck, guys. Again, I think this card alone just adds a lot of power to it and a lot of consistency. But it's a really fun deck, really nice engine, again, that you can play in a lot of different decks, especially like fusion-based decks. I think you can find a place for at least Rilleona, because you can search out the Magistus Invocation, which is nice. But yeah, it's a really cool deck, really fun. I love it. It's one of my favorite new decks right now to mess around with. But yeah, hope you guys like it, and we'll catch you on the next one.